Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Jo number ETS-104 in a 630 finish. This is a stainless steel extended lip strike. We call these T-strikes, and if you use your imagination, you can see why we would call them that. This is also inherent in kind of what we call a T-strike, is the fact that it's 2 3/4 tall. That's always going to be 2 3/4 tall when it, well, not always, but it, is it the shape or is it 2 3/4? A T-strike to me is going to kind of look like a T, but it's also going to be 2 3/4 tall over here. Now, this strike, and there is a link below this video to the template, it's overall about 4 9/16. That's not the width of this strike. It's a 4-inch strike. It's a 4-inch extended lip strike, and that's because strikes are measured from the center line of the holes to the edge of the lip. Okay, a standard strike, a common T-strike, would be about 1 5/16 inches, 1 1/4 inches, 1 3/8. So this is substantially larger, 2 3/4 inch larger than a standard strike, in fact. So keep that in mind, that if you need to pick up that much length, this is what it's going to look like. So the ETS-104 is the part number for the extended lip strike, and this is available in 2 base materials and 3 total finishes. You can do it in brass, solid brass, as a polished brass or an antique brass. You can then do it in stainless steel as a as a satin finish. I suppose you could polish it too. Jo can't. This scratched white surface you see is just the peel away protective film that's covering the stainless steel. Okay. Let's take a look at that template and see if there's not anything that I've missed here. No, we've gone over everything. 1 1/4 wide on... They've got... Oh, pardon me, 1 1/8. I looked... Okay, yeah, 1 1/8. Forgive me about that. The size of the hole that's in the prep is on the template. Refers to the fact that it's 18 gauge or .050 thickness, which is the thickness of a standard commercial grade type of strike plate. This has with it 1224 combo thread screws, which may be okay for what you're doing, or they might be too large. If it's a wood frame, you'll be able to make these work. You might have to drill out the hole a little bit. Pre-drill properly. If you've got a smaller, like a number 8 screw in the existing strike, pre-drill that hole. Don't force that bigger screw in there. You might split the jamb. If you're putting this onto a hollow metal frame, which is not unlikely or unheard of, that would be the proper strike as well. That's a flat undercut head type of screw, that is, and that's when you're countersinking to a very thin piece of material, you'd use an undercut head. Where would you use this strike? Well, anywhere where you need to extend the lip of the strike so that when the door closes, the latch is not making premature contact with the jamb, the wall, the stucco, the shutters, anything. An extended lip strike could easily be seen in a home in Florida where you've got concrete block, you've got the stucco or the outer treatment to the wall, but the wall's been brought up to and covering the frame, or the frame's been bled into the side of the walls. And if you're using concrete block, that's going to be 7 5/8 thick. It will be thicker with the added material, and that door could be brought in to the opening quite substantially, so that if my arm is the opening and my jamb is in here, I could start closing and hitting my strike over here, and it's just going to drag across the frame. But when I apply this strike, it will make contact with the metal and glide across that. Very common application, or any variant of that. You might have just added exceptionally thick material. You might have a frame installed and then you've added jamb extensions to it because the wall's very deep. You might have built a custom cabinet in a kitchen where the pantry door matches all of the other woodwork on the front of the refrigerator, etc., etc. You might need a long strike for that, or you might just have a really deep frame that is otherwise standard, but the door is set in. The inset is great. A typical inset on a door is 3/32 of an inch if it's not flush. From the pull side of the door, the relationship of the face of the door to the face of the jamb is either flush or set in ever so slightly. Well, imagine if that dimension was 3 inch. And it could be. You might have a home or a building that was built in the, in 1860 or thereabouts, or 1880, let's say, and it's several stories tall. Well, the thickness of those lower level walls are substantial. Anyway, you see the point. Anywhere where you need a longer lip, you have found it. There's a link also below this video to the product catalog where you can review all of the strike plates from Don Jo, and you sell a lot more specialty strikes from Don Jo than the standard strikes, but they certainly make those standard strikes. And you might want to review that catalog because it will allow you to see all of the variations of what you have. And when you compare those different part numbers, it might just simply help you more accurately determine whether or not the first strike you think that you need is indeed the one that you need. And you might find one that's a better fit for what you're working on. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Don Jo products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, and also the subsections of that full product catalog. Because if you know the name Don Jo, you may know them for just their door reinforcing wraparound plates or their latch protectors, but you'll see they're a comprehensive manufacturer of many things trim and auxiliary hardware related. If you have any questions on the Don Jo, this is their part number ETS-104 in a 630 stainless steel finish, or any other Don Jo product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.